Hey there, Maria Romano here with From Love to Legacy. Because love, leadership, and growth aren't separate, they're connected. Here, we focus on building businesses, relationships, and lives with impact.
If you want better results, stronger relationships, and a legacy that lasts, you're in the right place. Welcome to From Love to Legacy with Maria Romano, where leadership and real-world results meet human connection. Because how you lead and how you love today becomes the legacy you leave tomorrow.
70. How many of you out there have turned 70 in your 70s, or maybe you're a little younger? You know what? Being this age doesn't have to suck. It can be sensational. My name is Maria Romano, and I've been doing this series, 70 Days of Being 70. And the reason I started this series is because, you know what? When I woke up in July and I became 70, I kind of felt depressed. I kind of felt like, okay, I know I've had a lot more yesterdays than I will tomorrow. And I sort of felt like I was at the end of my life. And I had to pick myself up and recognize, you know, whatever life I have left, I want to enjoy it. And that's why I started this series. And there's probably a lot of you out there that might feel just the way I do. We feel all of a sudden as if we're invisible. And that's what happens. And it can happen. You could be invisible. You don't have to be 70. You can be a lot younger, you can be older. But I'm going to share something with you. You know what? Don't shrink. Don't shrink because of your age. Don't shrink. And that's what happens. When we get to a certain age, sometimes we become quiet. We don't share a conversation. We feel people might think what we have to say is outdated. Have you felt that way? Heck, and I did a ceremony the other day. I'm a wedding officiant too. I should share that with you. And I will tell you that being a wedding officiant really keeps me young and vibrant. And I've been doing that for the last 15 years here in Las Vegas. And I'm also a professional speaker. And the other day I was chatting with the guests before the ceremony started. And I was telling the guests, smile, you're on candid camera because we were going to go live on video. I said, how many of you remember candid camera? And it was a couple of people in the room that raised their hands. I think it was on the groom's side, his dad. I said, yes. I said, I love that show. And I said, you know what I said I listened to last night? I said, I was on YouTube and I was listening to Johnny Carson and he had Red Skelton on. I said, and he had Michael Landon. And I said, I was listening to him and I said, I just love him. And the guy says to me, you must be really old. And I said, I'm not old. I'm seasoned. And really, that's what it's about. So I'm not afraid to share my stories that, yes, I grew up in the 50s and 60s. I watched Mr. Ed. I remember I watched the Ed Sullivan Show, the Ted Mack Amateur Hour. Do any of you remember those shows? Oh my gosh. But you know what? Share that with people. When people talk about current shows, things that you might not be aware of, share what you watched when you were younger. There's a lot of lessons that people can get from you because of your experience. Just because you've lived a certain amount of life doesn't mean you have to shrink. What it means is that you should share your experiences, share how you feel, what you've learned, because that's the privilege of getting to this age, isn't it? It is. No, I don't watch all these current shows, Breaking Bad and this and that. There's so many different channels that they're streaming on. When I grew up, we had ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. Okay. Oh, and we did have then eventually Channel 5 came along. So we didn't have all this. We have so many choices, which I think is wonderful. It's great. But also sometimes less is best because you then really focus on something that you learn to enjoy. And there were TV shows that I did learn to enjoy. Remember the Patty Duke show? And I'm just sharing stuff with, we had the Addams Family. That was the real Addams Family, which was a great show. So share that with your family, with your friends, with your grandkids, with the people in your life. Say, you know what, we watch TV and share with them that we didn't have all these enhancements. So that when a singer came out and sang, they didn't have all these acoustics that made them sound better. That was their voice. When these actors and actresses, when you saw them in person, they didn't have all this plastic surgery and stuff that help enhance their faces. These were people that were naturally beautiful. So you've got a lot to share. Don't shrink. We come from a great generation, us baby boomers. We got a lot to share with people because we've lived a lot of life. And enjoy your life. This is what it's all about. Remember, you are worthy. You're valuable. And to think that maybe when you share some of the stories and the lessons that you've learned in your life, it's going to make a difference and stay with somebody else for the rest of their life. So go out, make this the best day ever, and don't shrink from your age. Stand up and be proud of your age and share your stories.